Hi, my name is Mike Bennett, and I want to talk to you about my hobby and my passion, which is collecting and sometimes painting toy soldiers. It was probably around 1950, when I was 6 years old, that I got my first set of toy soldiers. They were Britons, they were metal, made of lead in those days, and after that, I was hooked. Every Christmas, every birthday, my parents would give me Mark's play sets, like the ones you see over here on the PowerPoint slide. The one in the upper left is the Robin Hood playset, and the upper right is the Cape Canaveral playset, and down below that, the Battleground playset. Depending on your preference, you could have GIs fighting the Germans in Europe, or Marines fighting the Japanese in the Pacific. And here are the Mark's Civil War and Davy Crockett at the Alamo playsets. I had these 5 playsets and many more besides. But for me, the glory of the Mark's playsets was always the Frontier playsets like Fort Apache, Fort Dearborn, and Fort Pitt. So I wanted to show you what was in a Fort Apache playset. First, before you open the box, of course, there was the box art, and that was always something appreciated by kids like me. And then you open it up, and you start off with a set of instructions telling you how to put things together and what all was in the playset, so you could make sure that all the pieces were there. Then, in addition to that, you had the blockhouses. Now, of course, they weren't put together when the set was new. And you had the log stockade walls. But for me, the glory of the Mark's playset was always what you found in the bags. And there were 2 ways to go about exploring the bags. Number 1, you could explore it all at one time just by dumping everything out. So you had some furniture, a tree, a flag, a stack of logs, and a bunch of other things. But the way I usually liked to open up the bags was to take out one piece at a time so that each piece could be enjoyed before you got to the next one. So these were the horses. And then, of course, in the interest of time, we're going to empty this one all together. It's not the way I would have done it. These are the Indians and the defenders of the fort. If you have Indians, you also have to have an Indian village, chief to sit by the teepee, and his wife or daughter, etc. So, once you had this far, from that point, all you did was have hours and hours and hours of playtime.
With the fight, with the fight, with the fight, with the fight.
So Mark's playsets got me through my childhood years, and then the interest waned. High school came along, sports, girls, then college, then marriage, then graduate school, and my first teaching job. And then, one sad day, when I was no longer living at home, and because my brothers and sister were not interested in toy soldiers, my mom decided to clean out the basement, and almost all of it disappeared. Even that Fort Apache set I just showed you, I picked up at a flea market a few years ago. So after my mother purged my toy soldier collection, I thought I was free of the toy soldier bug. But I made a tragic mistake in 1985. I went to a thing called an antique toy and flea market at the Kane County Fairgrounds in Chicago's western suburbs, and I was bitten again. I've now been collecting seriously for over 30 years. My basement is so full of toy soldiers that I suggested to my wife that maybe the washer and dryer would look really good in the dining room. That, however, has gained no traction whatsoever. My collecting interests center around the American frontier from about 1750 to 1815. Also, the Alamo is an area of interest, and the Zulu War of 1879. I have some Civil War stuff, but I'm not really that interested in that period just now. In another way, my interests have changed over the years. World War II has faded into the background, and the American West has come on board. The hobby itself has changed as new manufacturing techniques have improved the quality of the figures, and as new manufacturers have added to the figures that are available and the themes that are covered. Sadly, some companies that produced excellent figures have fallen by the wayside. What follows today, and hopefully in the weeks to come, is a rather limited and personal view of the toy soldier hobby based on my own interests and my own collection. And one final point. All the fine folks I've met over the years in this hobby have an abiding interest in history. And I've often wondered if the toy soldiers they played with as children sparked that interest, or if an interest in history led them to the hobby. So that's it for today. Tune in next time when we'll talk about toy soldiers and military miniatures. See you then.